And we want to go to the telephone now, and join us on the phone is Coosa Christian coach Russ Propst. Good evening, Coach. Is he there? I think so. All right. Good evening, Coach. It's Jeff Allen. Welcome into the high school football scoreboard tonight.
Hey, Jeff. How are y'all tonight?
Doing great, Coach. Congratulations. Big win for Coosa Christian. Go on the road tonight. Very good football team at Tuscaloosa Academy. And by the score, it looks like another great performance by the Conquerors tonight, 56-21.
Yeah, I thought we played very physical. We was able to run the ball in between the tackles, and I don't know if y'all heard the stats on this thing. I think we rushed for 457 or 467, or four something. And Colin Johnson, sophomore kid, ran for 300 yards.
Wow.
So he had a heck of a night, and then we just was able to run the ball in between the tackles. And you know they're a spread team, a throw team, great quarterback, really good skill players. Quarterback's a Division I prospect. There's no question about that. He can play somewhere. He's a junior, about 6'3". He can swing it everywhere. He can make all the throws. And they were able to stay on the field. I think they ended up having close to 90 snaps against our defense. We couldn't get off the field, but offensively, they couldn't stop us. So we blocked the punt, got some stops eventually, and I understand that offense very well because I did it for years at Hoover, and it'll wear you down. But we were able to run the football and get out of there with a win.
Coach, I know you got some great skill players. You mentioned Colin Johnson, but the one thing that impresses me about this football team is what you have up front in your offensive line and your defensive line. These guys they're just outstanding football players, and that leads to a lot of the success there at Coosa Christian.
Riley Mays and D.L. or David Lang at left guard, our left tackle, like I said, Radley Mays, and then, of course, our Zayden Franklin, our right tackle, and then Chase Bynum. Chase Bynum, our right guard, Lord, I forgot his last name. And then, of course, Maddox Gaines, our junior center. Those five guys, four of those guys have been together now for a while.
Right. They're
all seniors, except for Maddox, the center, and the center's a sophomore, but the other four are seniors. And then you got to throw in Hayden Palmer and Cade Mickler at tight end. We played a lot of 12 personnel tonight and was able to stack it up. And, we got the old-timey eye tonight and just said, here we come, stop us. And with a true fullback and a tailback and two tight ends and one receiver. And you ain't seen me in a lot of that in a long time. So we were able to get in that and balance them up and just pound the football, and then took those five O-line, those two tight ends, and that fullback, and it's just old timey. I call it old Georgia eye football in the old days. When Coach Duder was at Georgia, you just line up and run the eye and run right at people, and that's basically what we did tonight.
Coach Probst, this is Phil Harris. Of course, at the early part of the season, a lot of distractions when you took over the program. But this is a tribute to the leadership of this program, of the players on the field, because it could have went south on you. But these guys held together, held strong, and have turned out to be a pretty darn good football team.
No, they did, and we didn't know. I didn't take over about August 12th. I think they voted me in on the 12th, and I hadn't been there for about couple of weeks, working, during fall camp. But, it wasn't mine so, yeah, you're right. And this team was not going to be in the playoffs. But the High School Athletic Association did the right thing, and Martin did the right thing and stepped down. And I think, look, you're right. It could have gone south, and it didn't. And that's a credit to our players. And they bought in. They bought in pretty fast. Early, we won. We went 0-2. Man, we lost a really good Pierce County team in South Georgia, and on a long trip down there, and then turned around and probably should have beat Pell City. We were up 2 scores, were 2:15 to go in the game, and we just gave it to them. Basically, we just handed it to them on a platter. We were up 2 scores twice in that game. There's no way. If you play that game 100 times, you win it 99 times. But They came back and beat us because we missed an extra point, and they beat us 28-27, and we're 0-2. So, there's that doubt, and then all of a sudden we struggled against Faultville. We won 26-0, but we really just didn't look good offensively, and then all of a sudden things started to click. And, I wanted to, I didn't want to be one-dimensional. They had been one-dimensional here in a lot of ways, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to spread the field and throw the football, and our quarterback's thrown 18 touchdown passes as a 10th grader. And we can beat you two different ways. We have really good receivers and skilled guys who can spread you and throw it, and then we can bunch up like we did tonight, and we can run it right at you. So when you have two ways of beating people, you can be right-handed or left-handed. That's what I've said all year. We can't just be right-handed. We have to be balanced, and that's the key. I mean, we left a lot of things on the field tonight that we could have done in the throw games, but we just didn't. And so those are good things. And later on, I feel real good about come playoff time. But, guys, and y'all know this, y'all been doing this a long time, things start to change when we get to November 7th. The time changes different. The time changes differently. The weather starts to change. It's colder. It's rainy. And so you have to learn in high school football, and I compare it to the NFL. Like in the NFL, it's January football is different than playing in September, October, and even early November. You have to adapt to that. And so and I've done it a lot. I've done it for many years that you got to win differently in November than you do this time of year. So we'll be off next week, and then the playoffs start. Again, you better be able to stop the run. You better be able to run the football, because you may get a night where it's a driving rainstorm on a muddy grass field, and especially in 2A football, and you got to be able to adapt. And then there may be some games where people stack the box. You better spread it out and get empty and be able to get the ball downfield and throw the football. So you got to be right-handed, you got to be left-handed, and you got to win differently.
Well, Coach, something else I wanted to point out too is a very difficult schedule. Allows you to be a lot more diversified and learn a lot more about your football team. And I think you're exactly right on this football team. It's got to be a lot more balanced, because last year it seemed like the team dominated on defense, but a lot of times they were inconsistent on offense. This seems to be a lot more complete football team.
I think it can be. I mean, I do believe that, and again, when I looked at film and I got in here and analyzed a lot of things, and I've watched them play for the last couple of years, and look, they beat 5 last year. I was here at the game, and they lined up and pounded right at them. But there'll come a time in any season, and I've seen it too many times, that you're getting a game and people are going to be really good in the box, and it's going to be tough to get, and you better be able to spread and throw it a little bit. So, and I've coached in over 100 playoff games. I think it's 100 or 101 playoff games in my career, and I can tell you that I've been on bad fields. I've been in games to where, that I became one-handed or one-sided, and I was not able to be diversified. Yes, this football team is now more diversified. Our quarterback understands the check down system. He understands half-field reads. He understands a lot of things in our throw game, and we've been able to work that part. We threw 7 touchdown passes one night, and I think that's going to make us way more dangerous, come playoff time, because I think we can either run it and we can throw it. And our defense is consistent. I think they have been really good here in defense. Teddy Whitmire does a phenomenal job. Him and Eric Albright, our defensive staff, does a great job of coming up with a plan. Even tonight, we gave tons of 3rd and 4th down conversions. This quarterback was just that good. And we couldn't get off the field on 3rd down, but we held them to 21 points. And it could have very easily, they could have got a lot more. We picked one off in the end zone. We had some stops down inside the 20. Down in the red zone, we got some stops. So, we're a consistent football team, and I think and we're a diversified football team, and I think that's important.
Well, Coach, again, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Congratulations, 8 wins in a row, 8-2. I know you said a few moments ago you got an open date next week. Then, of course, the playoffs start, and we wish you the best and this team the best as you go forward into the playoffs.
Well, guys, I appreciate what you do. I know other coaches have told you that, but what y'all do for high school football is important, and giving kids recognition and program recognition is what it's all about in our state. You know, I've been in both states, and I've seen, you know, most of our competition in Georgia was in Atlanta, but I've coached in South Georgia, and I've been in Birmingham, I've been in Mobile, I grew up over here where I am now. So, you know, people like y'all, I appreciate what you do, and that don't go unnoticed, trust me.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you saying that, and again, we wish you the best. I think you got a great football team, you got a great chance to advance in the playoffs, and of course, we wish you the best.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me.
That's Coach Rush Probst. Is the Coosa Christian Conquersville, one of the most impressive wins tonight. They're ranked number 2, but they go on the road to play a very good Tuscaloosa Academy team, 56-21. Sounds like just a dominating offensive performance for his team tonight.
Yeah, you know, like I said, Jeff, I've kind of noticed this all year long. You know, last year they were dominating on defense, but they have been a whole lot more consistent on the offensive side of the ball, and that's what makes this team dangerous and probably the favorite to win Class 2A.
I think so. I don't know who's going to beat them in Class 2A.